Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be talking about how long it takes to take care of 180 Crested Geckos. This is actually a remake or kind of an updated version of a video I made back in 2019 talking about how long it takes me to care for 18 Crested Geckos. I thought you might find this interesting because the amount of geckos that I've had as of late before I sold them was nearly 10 times more on the dot than what I had back in 2019, but the amount of time that it takes for me to take care of them has actually not increased at the same rate proportional to the amount of geckos I had. And so I thought that was kind of interesting and I wanted to share it with you. So back in that 2019 video, I had 18 Crested Geckos. As of late, I had 179. Technically 180 if you count my morning geckos, and we'll throw those in just to make it exactly 10 times more. And I said it took me 11 hours to care for them. So what I've been doing as of late is actually timing myself how long I spend caring for them to see what the increase would be now that I had literally 10 times more. And so what I found was kind of interesting. And I think that there's some things that I've done in my care that have also really helped keep it simple and keep it easy and the amount of time that it takes down. And so a couple of those things that have changed since 2019 is number one, I got all types of tubs that had no lids. Back in 2019, everything was on a rack with a lid and an individual bin. I was still doing individual bins this year, but everything was lidless. It was just sliding drawers and much easier to keep that way. I've also made it easier on my cup system. I wash them now automatically and I don't have to scrub them all by hand, so that really helps as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that I've changed. Those are the two big ones that stand out to me. But what I did is I've been timing everything, and this is just care. This is not me trying to sell geckos, list geckos, talking to customers, anything like that. This is just the care. We'll talk about that a little bit near the end of the video. But just care-wise, what I found is there's three main things: watering, feeding, and cleaning, of course. And so watering I do every single day. Takes me approximately 15-ish minutes for 180 geckos to give them all water. And that would be every single day. And I'm figuring this on a 30-day month. So 15 minutes a day times 30 days, that's 450 minutes. Next up would be feeding. And this past year, I actually switched my feeding schedule as well. That was another big one. I used to feed every other day regardless of the day. So, you know, if it was Monday, then Wednesday, then Friday, then Sunday, then Tuesday, then Thursday, right? And I would just keep that going. But what I actually started to do is feed on a set schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there was actually a 2-day period in between feedings from Friday till Monday, because I found that the geckos weren't typically that hungry and weren't eating as much of their food if I fed them every other day. And so this made it easy on me, and they tended to eat more food. And so I started feeding 12 times a month roughly, if there's a 4-week month, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So each feeding, including the cups, getting them ready, mixing the food, passing the food, that kind of stuff, was taking almost exactly an hour on the dot. And so 60 minutes times 12 is 720 minutes there. And then the final thing is cleaning. Now cleaning can vary depending on what I'm doing and what I find. You know, if a couple of little baby geckos had maybe stuck toe tip shed and I had to soak them and then, you know, try and help them out, or if I was adding lay boxes, let's say, or maybe changing out the moss in all the lay boxes, this added extra time. But for me, typically in a normal cleaning, I would just go through, I would replace anything that's dirty, I would throw it out, and then I would wipe down the cages and any of the hard surfaces that weren't replaceable. In this case, it would be like the PVC pipes that I had in the adult enclosures or the lay boxes. I also had some plastic hides that I would use, so I would wipe those down as well. So taking everything out, wiping it down, throwing away bad stuff, replacing it is basically my cleaning schedule. And I would do this every other week, so roughly 2 times a month, depending on how the weeks fell. And so this would roughly take me 7 hours on a normal schedule, assuming I'm not doing anything unusual with the baby geckos, let's say, or the moss, right? And so 7 hours is 420 minutes times 2 times per month is 840 minutes. And so that means that I was spending roughly, in this case, 33.5 hours per month cleaning and caring for my geckos, just the cleaning and care. However, this leaves out a lot of those unusual things and miscellaneous things. So I would say on average, from what I have found, keeping 180 Crested Geckos and caring for them, feeding them, cleaning them, typically on average would run me about 35 to 40 hours per month, which comes out to roughly 2 hours a night if you were working a part-time job. So it's not too bad, assuming Monday through Friday. Now, when you add in, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you add in all the time I spent selling geckos, which would be taking photos, listing them on my website, putting them on MorphMarket, talking to customers, shipping them, getting boxes ready, dealing with everything that goes along with selling and shipping them, that would add an additional 40 hours, give or take, to my schedule, meaning that I was roughly spending, on average, 80 hours per month with the geckos. Now, I don't ship and sell every month, but I would say from April to June, and then from August till October, that could be very expected, which would be the equivalent of working a full-time, part-time job, 4 hours a night, 5 nights a week, right? 20 hours a week. And so that's kind of interesting to me. And I just was keeping track of this year. I started doing it. It would have been interesting to do it in the past, but that's what I found. Roughly 40 hours, let's say, on the max side of just cleaning and caring for the animals. And so that's pretty interesting that the amount of geckos that I had increased tenfold, but the amount of time to care for them really only increased about 4 times. And so I imagine that if you continue to scale up and you continue to get more of the same animal, that you'd probably find something similar in that you could get more and more geckos, but the amount of time to care for them would not increase at the same rate. And so that's probably why you can have a couple hundred geckos and one person can take care of them. Anyway, I just thought this was interesting. I wanted to share it with you just because I thought it was kind of cool, and people seem to like the last video I made a couple of years ago. And so with that being said, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one.